Hey y'all, how you doing? Welcome back for another adventure. What we're gonna try today is a little bit of beer can chicken. It's gonna be real simple, real easy, real fun to do. Now we got a few things, only a couple of key ingredients, if you will. We got a chicken. We've been brining that. I'll tell you how to do that in just a minute. And then we got the little rack that it sits on. We got a beer, obviously, and we got some rub we're gonna put on this thing. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you want to do, you gotta get your rack, and it doesn't matter what kind you use. I've seen, 100 different kinds out there, 100 different styles. This happens to be the one that I'm using. So you just put your can there in the middle, slide that chicken right down over it. Not necessarily as easy as it sounds. That little hole can be a little hard to get on there, so you might have to wiggle it a little bit. And then you got the best part. That's right. So what we got here, what we're gonna use today is well, I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for brand names or whatever, and I don't really care. What we got here is a Dallas Blonde. So we're gonna use that. So the first thing you gotta do, and this is in the instructions per doctor's orders, you gotta take half that beer and pour it out. I know, sounds like a shame. Why would you want to pour out a perfectly good beer? Well, the good part about that is not only are you gonna use this to keep that chicken moist, but you can use the other half to keep yourself moist. So before we get started, there you go. All right, so what we got here in the sink, we got this little chicken. We've been brining that. So what this has been soaking in is you take a cup, and this is kind of aggressive because I didn't have very long to brine it, so I had to move a little bit faster. So I got a cup of kosher salt, a cup of brown sugar, about a gallon of water. Mix that up till everything's dissolved, and just drop that chicken right down on in there, and throw it in the fridge. If you can leave it out on the counter, maybe a couple hours, 2-3 hours, 4 to 6 hours in the fridge. All right, you don't really want to leave it a lot longer than that, especially with so much salt and sugar in there. Now you can cut that in half and just let it sit overnight. It'll be just fine. But like I said, I got started on it today, so we just had it in the fridge for a couple hours. So first thing you want to do is take that chicken, rinse it off real good, get some of that extra salt back off there before you put it on this thing. So that's what we're going to do now. All right, that's a big bird right there. Got about 5 pounds. You just kind of want to give it a light lips. You just kind of get a little bit of that salt off of there. Now all of that's still going to be soaked down in the meat, so don't worry about that. All right, we're just trying to get a little bit of salt off the outside of that. All right, next part of that, I'm gonna let this dry for just a second. Now a lot of people just say, go ahead and dry this thing off. I don't care, I ain't found no difference. So I ain't gonna dry it off. Just gonna take this bird, sit it right down over this can. Like I said, it can be kind of tight and wiggly to get on there. But usually once you get it on one side and on the other side, it'll slide right down. There you go. Setting up nice and pretty. I'll go ahead and rinse your hands off. Messing with raw chicken, you don't want to just spread that everywhere. All right, so we got, and maybe I'll get that down on there a little bit further, but I think it'll be all right as long as it's sitting up, it's happy. So what we're gonna use this other stuff that I love to use. I found this and this turned out pretty good. It's called Rub Some Chicken. That's what that is. And it's got some garlic and herbs in it, and it's really good. So what we're gonna do is just kind of dust this thing down real good. You don't even have to really rub it in there. We're just gonna give it a good coating of this stuff. Just all over. gonna get the front, we're gonna get the back. Oh, I did forget one thing. A lot of recipes are gonna say, take some of this and put it down inside your beer can. Again, I don't know if that makes a lot of difference or not, especially if you're using something that's got a lot of flavor to it already as far as the beer goes. Gotta get that chicken butt covered. Get this side real good. All right, that's pretty much all there is to it. So now we're gonna take this thing and we're gonna put it out on the grill and or the smoker. Sorry about that. We're gonna put it on the smoker and let this thing ride for about an hour and a half till she's nice and pretty and done. Welcome back. All right, we outside in the grilling area now. We got our nice little setup. So what I've got here, I'm using a pellet smoker, Pit Boss. I like this thing. It's not real big, but it works great for my purposes. So we got that thing rolling about 250 degrees. Then I've got a little extra smoke tube in there. Now what that is you can take some of those wood pellets in there and light them things up and get them smoldering, and that just give you a little bit extra smoke through your cook. All right, so we're gonna take this little chicken. It just happens to be sitting a little sideways. We're gonna put that right on in there. All right, so we got that chicken. Like I said, we got a little smoke tube over here, letting off a little extra smoke. And we're just gonna close that sucker up for, like I said, about an hour and a half. I'll get the probe and stick that in there in about an hour. And the fattest part of the thigh, just kind of check the temperature, make sure we're good to go. And otherwise, we're just gonna enjoy the yard and you know, drink some beer and have some fun. So, all right, we'll be back. All right, we've had that chicken on there for about half an hour now, getting some really good smoke. So we went ahead and crank that sucker up to 3 1/4, 325 to 350, and we'll run that the rest of the time. And now, if you want the skin to get a little bit crispy, that last 15-20 minutes, and you're risking drying it out a little bit, but you can go ahead and crank that thing up to like 450, 400, and see if you can get that skin a little bit crispier. But we like it just like it is. Woo! Look at her go. All right, guys, here we are back at it. This thing finally got up to the temperature I want it to be, so we're gonna go ahead and pull this thing off. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Look at that, golly. Ain't that beautiful? That is beautiful and delicious. You can't believe the smell. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and pull that thing out. Oh, that probe, I told you I was gonna stick that probe in there. You can see that probe. That's in about the thickest part of the thigh right there, and that's about where you want that thing. You want to get a good reading right there. So now we're gonna go ahead and pull that thing off, and we're gonna take it back in the house, let it sit and rest for about 15-20 minutes or so. Then we're gonna cut that sucker open and have some supper. So we'll meet you back in the house. All right, y'all, so we got this thing off the stand and laid out on our cutting board, and don't she look beautiful? I tell you what, it smells great. So we're gonna go ahead and cut that thing up, make us a little side salad to go with it, and just enjoy the rest of our evening, and I hope you do too. See ya.